My name is Dylan Carter, I'm 29, and for most of my life, I've been the punchline at family gatherings. Not because I'm funny, but because in my family, laughter is a weapon. They laugh to remind me where I stood, somewhere on the outside, near the folding chairs, only useful if the Wi-Fi broke. My sister Julia has always been the star, bright career, perfect smile, endless approval. My brother Michael is Dad's shadow, orbiting his pride like a loyal moon. Mom never says anything outright, just folds napkins into swans while pretending not to notice the cold air in the room. My Aunt Diane. She's the unofficial narrator of family gossip, armed with wine and a tongue sharp enough to leave scars. And me? I was Dylan, the one who never finished. If you asked them, my reputation began sophomore year when I dropped out of college. The family version is that I gave up, ran off, and chased some half-baked dream. The truth? My financial aid fell through. Rent was due, bills stacked up, and my part-time cafe job couldn't keep me afloat. I told myself it would just be one semester off. But one semester became permanent. I worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs. I repaired phones at a mall kiosk under buzzing lights, drove rideshare at night, and counted every hour of sleep like it was borrowed. It wasn't glamorous, but fixing things gave me a strange peace. A cracked screen restored. A dead battery revived. I wasn't building a future, but at least I was holding chaos at bay. When I told Dad once that I could fix his phone instead of him buying a new one, he didn't even look impressed. You're not a technician, Dylan. You're just a kid who never finished. Mom offered a polite smile. Aunt Diane rolled her eyes, and by dessert, the whole family chat knew Dylan's tinkering with gadgets now. That was my place, the failure who fixes toasters. But quietly, in the background, I got good. Not just at repairs, but at data recovery, system restoration, things businesses desperately need when their world suddenly goes dark. If you could show up on time, keep promises, and not make clients feel stupid, you could build something real. That's what I did. I rented space in the back of a computer shop owned by a retired teacher who believed in me more than my family ever had. On paper, I was a dropout. But in invoices, I was the guy who saved a bakery after a power surge or recovered a school's entire attendance system. Slowly, those two versions of me started to merge. Then came the family reunion. It was Julia who called me. She was getting married soon and begged me to show up, for neutral ground before the wedding chaos. Against my better judgment, I agreed. The reunion was at Aunt Diane's mansion, polished to perfection. I parked down the street, sat in my car longer than I needed, then walked in ready for the storm. Still the dropout, huh? Diane said at the door, perfume heavy, smile sharper than her words. Inside, eyes turned, measuring me as if my shoes or shirt could tell the story they already believed. Michael leaned in with his usual smirk. Just don't embarrass us tonight, okay? I smiled, shrugged. Old armor. Dinner was exactly what I expected. A cousin asked if I'd found anything stable yet. Dad chuckled. He keeps busy. And Diane announced, we keep Dylan around because he can fix the toaster. The table laughed. Not cruelly. Just easily, like it was natural to make me the joke. But Julia's fiancé, Mark, was different. He shook my hand like a human being, asked real questions about my work, leaned in with curiosity. That alone unsettled the room. At one point, his phone lit up as he searched my company name. I saw something shift in his expression, surprise, recognition, maybe even respect. But before he could say anything, Michael struck. Loud enough for everyone to hear. He grinned. Funny thing, last year Dad almost had to bail Dylan out because he couldn't make rent. The table froze. My face burned. Dad cleared his throat and delivered the final blow. It's true. Dylan came to me for help. I told him we don't reward failure in this family. Failure. He said it so calmly, like it was fact. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Not in anger, but in clarity. I looked at him, at all of them, and realized this wasn't family. It was an audience that had decided my role years ago. I stayed quiet that night, but something hardened in me. If they wanted to cast me as a failure, fine. I'd let them. But one day, the truth would speak louder than their laughter. In the weeks after, I buried myself in work, not as escape, but as revenge. I formalized my business, rebranded, secured contracts with clinics, schools, even law firms. Word spread. One small job led to another, then to 3, then to 10. I wasn't just fixing phones anymore. I was protecting infrastructures, preventing disasters, saving companies. The breakthrough came when a medical practice was crippled by ransomware. I worked a non-stop weekend and restored everything by Monday morning. That one snowballed into more contracts. Within a year, I had employees, an office downtown, and retainers that paid more in a month than my family thought I'd make in a year. Recognition followed, magazine features, invitations to panels, my name whispered in boardrooms. Quietly, I became the guy people trusted when everything went wrong. And still, I told my family nothing. Because I knew the stage was setting itself. The final act came at Julia's wedding. The venue gleamed with polished columns and manicured lawns. Exactly the kind of place my father worshipped. Suits pressed, laughter rehearsed, appearances everything. I arrived early, not as the black sheep, but as someone different. My company's logo sat neatly among the evening sponsors, subtle but undeniable. Most of my family didn't notice, but Mark's colleagues did. They crossed the room to thank me for work I'd done, shook my hand, called me the guy who saved our project. I caught my father watching, confusion flickering in his eyes. Michael looked uneasy for once, like the script had slipped out of his hands. Aunt Diane tried to crack a joke, but it fell flat. For years, they called me failure. That night, without saying a word, I let the truth stand in the room for everyone to see. And as I raised a glass to Julia and Mark, I felt no anger, no need to gloat. Just peace. Because I finally understood, vindication doesn't come from arguing with people who refuse to see you. It comes when they can no longer deny who you've become. So, to anyone listening who's been underestimated, mocked, or dismissed, remember this. You don't need their applause to matter. Build quietly. Grow steadily. Let your work speak for you. Because one day, the people who doubted you will have no choice but to look up. And when that day comes, smile, raise your glass, and keep walking. Like and subscribe for more such interesting and familiar to reality stories.